So just a reminder, these webinars are organized thanks to a collaboration with the HOPE and PACS. And the main objective is to put in front best practices across Europe to share knowledge and experience. The webinars will be taped and will be available online afterwards. So feel free to contact us afterwards if you have any questions regarding the webinar. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Florian Leber and Michael Spackel joining us to talk about their Vienna's internal audit model. So they're going to go and take over the floor and talk about their specific system they have put in place in Vienna. So Florian, normally you can take on with the next slides.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello everybody from Vienna. I wish you a pleasant afternoon. My name is Florian Leber and this is my colleague.
Hello.
Dr. Michael Spackel. It's a pleasure and an honor to give you a small insight on our proprietary audit system that we've developed. And of which we think that it has proven quite successful. Just to give you an idea of the organization we are speaking about, I would like to give you a small introduction and some general information on the Vienna Hospital Association. If you look at the map of Vienna, you can see here our organization has 9 hospitals which we care for, among which is also the University Hospital in Vienna. We have furthermore 10 nursing homes, which are municipal public nursing homes. And we have, of course, headquarters like the General Directorate, IT and facilities. Some key features of the Hospital Association: our annual budget is 3.5 billion of euros. We have around 30,000 employees. In 1 year, we have nearly 400,000 inpatients and 3.2 million outpatients. Our number of beds is in acute care and daycare 8,500. In long-term care, it's 3,600. That's in the nursing homes. We have around 13,000 births per year in our public hospitals, and also some facilities information, 7,000 tons of laundry, which we have to wash each year. We have to prepare 4.5 million meals, and we have nearly 1 IT workplace for every second employee, which makes 15,500 IT workplaces. Just to give you an idea of the actual size of our organization.
Now to our today's topic, KAV-Q-Zert, our audit system or certification system. What was the reason to introduce this system in the Vienna Hospital Association, in the KAV, as it is called? We had several challenges we had to face, like a reduction in working hours, as well for doctors, as well as for nurses. And the education and training system also had changed. Then we had a new strategy on external certifications. We wanted to reduce these certifications to realize savings, basically. The whole hospital association had been certified by the EFQM, European Foundation for Quality Management, but this certificate had run out a few years before. So our political leadership decided, our management decided that we should create a certification system of our own. And basically the task were to make up this audit system, and by means of the certification to save money on external certification. The project was introduced in 2016. We started in May, and the whole system was set up by December 2017 as planned. Here, the main goals: we wanted to increase quality of care, of course, and patient safety. We wanted to focus on the department level, where we wanted to foster a comprehensive quality management system. And as I said before, reduce costs on external certifications.
When it comes to the tasks which were necessary to achieve this goal, first of all, we had to think about requirements index. What will be the best requirements that could give us a picture of the overall quality of a department? Then we had to make some pre-arrangements to introduce this new audit system within 108 clinical departments and institutes. This is nothing you can achieve from one day to another. So you have to really make a thorough planning when to start with which department. For example, we thought about what will be the greatest obstacles when we introduce a new audit system. And one would be that departments would be disappointed because of failing the audit. So we decided that we will start with these departments, respectively institutes, which are already in an audit process, like the laboratories, which have all been certified upon with ISO 9001. So the new audit process is going, and these were the departments which we started with. The next thing we were thinking about was how to design our audit system. And it was relatively clear from the beginning that we wanted a modular system. One thing that is common to all other major quality models that are out there, like KAV-Q, EFQM, ISO, is that they focus more on the institutional level and not on department level. And the results are not always applicable. So it was a very major point for us that we wanted a modular design that ensures the fit of the audit system for each individual department. Before we started with our audit system, we did thorough testing within 4 departments and institutes, just to get a feeling if the question is right, if the whole audit process is practical in the everyday setting, because one thing we wanted to ensure is that the audit does not disturb the day-to-day work in a department, because the main goal is still that we have to care for patients and not to follow an audit system. So this was a big issue for us. Another very important thing was to get all the opinion leaders on board. And if I say opinion leader, or when I say opinion leader, it's not always the people who are in favor of it, but who are very strong critics of this audit system or have been. And it was very important to convince them that what we are doing is meaningful and has a positive influence on our organization. And we had a broad information campaign where we went to all hospitals, informed all the department leaders, the medical department leaders and the nursing department leaders of what we're planning to do. We also asked for feedback and tried to incorporate this feedback in our audit system. And what's also a very important point is that we wanted to do this audit with our own auditors or internal auditors. So we had to make sure that we have enough members in our audit team that are able to do this. So we had to recruit and train our internal auditors. I spoke about the requirements index. There has been a huge discussion among the experts during the development process. What are the right questions to ask during such an audit? What is relevant for quality within a department and what is not so relevant? And in the end, we came up with around approximately 80 specific requirements, of which we and the group of experts, we were around 15 experts in the development, in the project group, where we agreed upon these 80 requirements. The grading is based upon yes and no questions, but still a graduation from 0 to 3 points for each requirement, where 3 points you will receive upon the gold standard, which is the long-term goal we want to achieve for each requirement in our organization, and 0 points is received when you do not fulfill a specific requirement. There has also been discussion about knockout questions. For example, is patient safety of a higher importance than, for example, a question regarding the organizational chart or department strategy? And we came to the conclusion that in fact all the 80 requirements are knockout requirements. In the case when you get 0 points, then your results are so bad that you cannot get a certificate for such a bad performance. Like, for example, department strategy, you will receive 0 points if you have no written department strategy, when the department leader, the nursing leader and the medical leader have no idea how they will perform in the next few years and in what direction they want to go, and also when the employees of the department have no idea in what strategic direction the department is going. So then you will receive 0 points. And I think we all agree, if you have no strategic idea whatsoever, not even just in your mind, then you cannot get a quality degree. The scope, that's also a very big issue of discussion, or was a big issue of discussion, which is the scope at which we want to look. Most of the quality models just focus on institutional level. For example, KAV-Q, which is Cooperation for Transparency and Quality in Hospitals, a German accreditation model. They focus on the whole institution, for example, a whole hospital. If you look at a hospital, you see that the various departments have various topics that they deal with. For example, a surgical department cannot be compared to a laboratory or a psychological department. So that's also a focus, has been a focus when it came to the modular design that we were focusing on, that we wanted to have the right fit for each department. And I think it's also a big issue for the department itself. If you receive a result of an audit system and from 80 requirements, 40 are not applicable to you, and that's sometimes disencouraging for departments. As I said, we took references from other audit models and quality models out there, KAV-Q, EFQM, Common Assessment Framework, and also ISO 9001. We just looked what's the best aspects of these various models and borrowed these for our own quality model. So the overall structure of the quality model is according to the ISO 9001 structure. We have one chapter that's leadership, one about the employees, resources, operation, safety, and improvement. We not only focus on data we received during the audit and by looking at documents on department level, we also included various survey data that we do on the organizational level, like patients questionnaires, but also employee surveys. These results are also incorporated, they are analyzed centrally and then incorporated in the audit. And as I've said before, we have this modular design just to consider all these specifics from hospitals and also from nursing homes.
So how does this audit system work? As we have explained, it is an internal audit system. That is, the whole requirement scheme and the audit system has been made up by our own experts, and the auditors come from within the organization as well. All clinical departments and institutes, you've heard, it's about 180, are required to take part in this audit system, and one single department for this department would be every 2 years that they have to go through an audit. We started in January 2018, and now, end of 19, we are about to finish this first cycle of audits. The audit plan fixes the week when every department institute has their audit, and the flexibility is made sure by that departments can then choose the day of the week they want to undergo the audit. We send 2 auditors to every audit, and the coordination of the whole system is here in the center department, in the General Directorate of the Hospital Association. We also made a directive for the whole association that whoever wants to undergo an external certification needs to have clearance from the General Directorate, and it is necessary to achieve KAV-Q-Zert Gold level before you may undergo external certification. Our auditors are, as I said, employees of the association. They come from our hospitals. They are nurses, sometimes doctors, or administrative staff. And we asked for a certain profile. They needed to have quality management education and experience. And then we gave them a 1-day specialized training on KAV-Q-Zert. We have a very detailed audit manual where the process is described and all the rules for the audit process. For example, one rule is that auditors may not do an audit in their own hospital. They have to go to other houses, but as we have 19 facilities, this is no problem. By now, we have about 40 auditors, which means that each of them has approximately 4 audits he does by year. One important point is calibration. We need to make sure that all the auditors come to a similar result in every audit, to whichever department they go. So they really have to have a similar idea of the requirements and of the ratings they give. And to make this sure, we have quarterly meetings where we discuss the process, the requirements, and all developments in the audit system.
The audit process in detail is that we send out an information letter to the department 6 weeks before the audit, in which we include a list of documents which are required to be prepared for the audit, to get a look at them during the audit process. We also include a link to the requirements index, so every department can look up in front what requirements are applicable for their own department. We asked also for a confirmation of the date, especially as Michael just said, the day of the week, because the calendar week is fixed. The department may not choose in which calendar week they are going to be audited, but they can choose the day of the week. And we also require a sample of employees to do the interviews with. This is also a very specific thing that we introduced in KAV-Q-Zert, that we not only want to talk to the department leaders, but also to the employees to get a feeling how much of the quality work actually is perceived in day-to-day work. The audit itself takes half a day, more or less. It depends on the department size. For example, a laboratory can be done in 4.5 hours. A big surgical department might take 6 hours, but all in all, it's half a day. The starting point is that we give out a questionnaire to 15 employees, which have between 8 and 12 questions, which we ask them to fill out. Afterwards, we have the interview with the department management, which we also require that we always have 2 department managers, medical department manager and nursing department manager, respectively. In some institutes, there is a revalidation management. And all the department leaders have to be present in the interview with the management. If only one is present, we have to make another date for the audit, but up till now it has never happened that not all department managers were present. And after the interview with the department management, we have interviews with 6 to 8, always also depending on the size of the department, 6 to 8 employees from the department. Every interview is around 30 minutes, and we do a check if all the things that the department management told us that also is relevant for employees, if employees also see it the same way as the management. So, for example, if we ask, is the strategy known to all the employees, and the department management says, yes, the strategy is written in paper and it's known to all our employees, then we ask the employees in the interview, can you tell us specific points from your department strategy? And so we get the whole picture. How do we assess Then the various requirements. As we told you before, it's a standardized and a comparable assessment, which means we have a scheme which is identical for all the departments. They differ from requirement to requirement, but for all the departments, the scheme is the same, and it goes from 3 points to 0 points, where 3 points is the gold standard. We look into the documentation. For example, is there standard operating procedure for example, the most common processes in the department. And we look if it's also comprehensive in the department. So only the existence of the documentation will not give you the highest number of points. It also has to be in use, so to speak. To pass the certificate or to get a certificate, you have to reach at least 60% of the total points. But in each of the 6 chapters we have, you have to reach 50% of the points. And in the end, you can get one of 3 levels. You can either pass the certificate, you can get silver status or gold status, which is with 75 or more percent or 90 or more percent. If you have just one single 0-point assessment, it's like a red flag, and it impedes the department from certification. But you might make an amendment within 6 months. For example, if you have failed by one assessment, one requirement, then you can, for example, if you don't have a strategy, within 6 months, you can send us a document of your strategy, and then you will get at least 1 point.
After the audit, the auditors enter all the data they collected in the audit in our audit management system, and they produce a detailed audit report. This is done more or less automatically. So usually it's possible to have this report 1 or 2 days after the audit. In this report, which goes to the department leaders and the hospital directors as well, managers see the complete list of the requirements. They see what aims would have been to be reached, like the 3 points, what would have been necessary to get 3 points. And then they see what was the situation the auditors found. Like, for example, we have an indicator, are there regular multi-professional team meetings on the department? And the 3-point aim would be, yes, they are regular multi-professional and there is documentation available for the whole staff. If you have a green light, a green lamp, that means that you have reached the 3 points and there's no need to improve in this specific indicator. If you have a yellow lamp, it means you got 2 or 1 points, like meetings are only occasionally or there is no documentation. And if you have the red lamp, that is what Florian just described, the red flag, it would be, in this case, for example, there are no multi-professional meetings. So a detailed report, and there's also a poster certificates that we send to the respective hospital, which usually is given to the department management in a little ceremony by the board of directors. In the intranet, we then show the results. So this is open to all employees of the association. You can see if the department passed the gold level, silver level, or just passed the the certificate. And with this public showing of results, we created a certain spirit of competition. And we've seen that all our departments and institutes made great efforts to achieve gold level, which talk about the results.
Sure.
Say that later.
No.
Most of the departments did. We only had like a dozen of departments that reached silver level, and like 5 or 6 departments really failed because of certain indicators. So big competition and a big effort by the departments in preparing the audit and really setting up a good quality management system in order to pass the KAV-Q-Zert audit. Yeah, we also do controlling for this KAV-Q-Zert process. We send quarterly reports to our management board. The key figures we send them is our audit ratio, which is 100%. All our audits that we had on the plan could be executed. We report our average results and also the amendment ratio, which means which departments had red flags and what were the indicators that had to be worked on, and which departments were then were able to correct the red flag to improve to a yellow lamp. And we send feedback forms to all parties involved, that is department, management, and the 2 auditors. And we do quantitative and qualitative also that we work with this data and analysis of this data. Thank you.
So what's the conclusion after nearly 2 years of working with this audit system? One thing that surprised me personally was that the overall feedback from the departments itself was very positive, because upfront during the time of testing, there were many resentments that this is something which is unnecessary and it's not really helping the departments. But what's the feedback from the department management up till now is that it really gave a boost to quality management in the departments. For some example, we asked if a department has a dedicated quality manager. And 2 years ago, we do have regular trainings, quality management trainings, and up to 2 years ago, it was very rare that a doctor would join these trainings. And since we started with KAV-Q-Zert, the numbers of doctors participating in the quality management trainings has significantly increased to nearly half of the participants are now doctors. So there is now a change in the perception of what is needed for quality management on department level. Another feedback is that it was very well perceived how close the quality audit system we have is to the staff members, because as I said, most of the quality models tend to focus only on the management level, and it's like a meta analysis. But we focus on what's the impact for each employee. And this is well perceived, very well perceived by the employees. Another feedback was that we achieved much more compared to EFQM. We had several years in which we introduced EFQM in the Vienna Hospital Association, and the impact was near to zero, I have to say. And in just 1 year of KAV-Q-Zert, everybody in the hospital association, from department management to basic staff members knew about this quality model. And that's also something that we see is that the sustainable quality also has been given a boost. We also see that there have been new impulses for the continuous improvement process. For example, the departments now get in contact with each other. If one department has an audit coming in 5 weeks, then they will get in contact with other departments which already had an audit going on, and they share their findings, and they, for example, reuse forms that have been developed in one department. So the invention of wheels has been reduced, and we only perhaps now can say that we invent a wheel only in one hospital and not in each department. Also, the sharing of knowledge between the departments and also the auditors has been significantly. When auditors come upon new ideas within the departments they are auditing, it's has been more than once that the auditors say, well, that what you do here is quite a good thing. I will take this home to my own department. So it's also an impulse for the auditors themselves. As Michael also told you before, the gold status is a huge motivation trigger. Everyone wants to achieve the gold level. And so the departments put huge efforts in the audits. What we also have seen, and this is something that I also think it's a very positive thing, is that our quality management system is a living system. We did not stay on the same base like we started 1.5 years before, but we changed the system when we encountered situations where we said the things that we came up with upfront do not work out in the day-to-day process. Then we change the thing gradually, and this is also something that is very well perceived in the departments. Yeah, so what's the outlook? The first audit cycle will be completed by the end of this year. We will have the second cycle beginning in January 2020. We have always said that we want to broaden our model to other areas in the hospital, not only the medical and clinical departments, but also in the far future to the administrative department and facility management. Next year we have done an intermediate step. We have integrated medical technology, pharmacies, and also the kitchen, because with these departments there's also a strong connection to the clinical areas. Parallel, we are working on a management audit, because our general directorate boards, they were thinking on introducing an audit system on the hospital management themselves. This is just in a process of thinking we are in. Perhaps we will introduce this management audit also within the next year, but this is not written or not still in stone. Yeah, so that's more or less in a very short time the corner points of our quality management system. We have concluded now with our presentation, so we are open for discussion
Does anybody have a question for Michael and Florian? It can also be by chat. I'm going to give you a few moments to react. If not, you can still send any questions by email and I'll forward everything to the team. The webinar will be then published online and will be available for you to re-listen to. And don't hesitate to come back to us if there's any problem. I see some of you thanking our two speakers. So yes, thank you for sharing your experience with us. It's been really interesting, and we hope you can join in other webinars also to listen to other experiences. So to everybody who's been listening, thank you for joining us, and we'll be keeping in touch with you for other activities from the Quality and Safety Network. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.